Good morning student. As in our previous English period we completed up to unit 4. So now in this period I am moving on further with the unit 5. So unit 5 which include one poem Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and one story Helen Keller. So firstly I am continue with the poem Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. This poem is written by the Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond was a famous Indian writer of British origin. He was born in the year of 1934 in Kasauli, Himachal Pradesh. He now lives with his adopted family in Landor, Missouri, and his writing is simple and easy to understand by the young reader. So now let's start with the poem. Don't be afraid of the dark. So in this, poet is trying to talking with the little child. He is telling to little child that don't be afraid, don't be fear from the dark night. He is telling, or he wants to explaining the importance of the dark night to the little child. So now, don't be afraid of the dark little one. So the poet is telling that don't be afraid of the dark, don't be afraid from the dark night to the little child, to little one. The earth must rest when the day is down. So day is done. So why there is a need of night, as at the night the earth take rest and all other creatures on it, they also take rest. So night is important in this way. The sun must be harsh but the moonlight never. So on day the sun must be harsh, that is a tough, it's too strong, but moonlight never. But at night moonlight is smooth, and those stars will be shining forever and ever. And we see the sky is full of stars and it's shining forever. There is no limitation or there is no ending in that. It will be shining forever and ever. It gives light and hope to us. Be friends with the night. There is nothing to fear. So poet is trying to say that you have to be friend or friendlier with the night. There is no such thing to be afraid from the night. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing like fear from the dark night. Just let your thoughts travel to friends far and near. So poet is telling that you have to be familiar with the dark night. Just let your thoughts far from the dark night and just dreaming good things, good thoughts at night. By day, it does seem that our troubles want keys. So on day, we can see that we have lots of work and we facing lots of hurdles. So on the day, there is no ending point, but at night, late at night, the world is at peace. But at night, all over the whole world is at full of peace. Means they are taking rest, their mind is relaxed, they dreaming good things and good thoughts. So this poem is by Ruskin Bond. Then after, we are moving on the story Helen Keller. Before I start the story Helen Keller, one small little poem is given that don't give up, don't give up. If you keep on going and never stop, you can keep on going, you can make it to the top. Life is full of mountains, some are big and some are small. If you don't give up, you can overcome them all. So keep on going, try not to stop. When you keep on going, you can make it to the top. So, from the poem names, we getting some idea that don't be give up, don't be give up. You have to do work hard and hard for achieving your goals. So if you continue with your hard work, with focusing on your goal, then at the end you can reach at the top. So for reaching at the top level, you must have to be prepared, you have to be planned, and you have to be totally focused on your goal. If one time you will be fail, and if you give up, you stop your activity, then you are never reach at your goal. So for reaching at your goal, for achieving something in our life, we have to be must keep going and going. There are so many hurdles like mountain in our path, but we have to be continue with our hard work, and by our hard work, by our proper plan, we can at the end reach the top. What we think, what we dream, at last we definitely reach at that point. Now, Helen Keller. So, this story is related with the one couple, the Captain Arthur Keller and the cat Adams Keller. He lived in Tuscumbia, a small town in northwest Alabama, USA. So, it was the summer of 1880. A healthy baby girl was born in a small town in Alabama. So, it was the summer days and it was the year of 1880. A healthy baby girl was born in that family in that small town in Alabama. Her parents loved her dearly and named her Helen Keller. So the grown-up baby, that name is Helen Keller. Her parents loved her dearly. Dearly, that is the person whom we loved more, as our parents also loved more. So the girl is so dear one to their parents, and her named Helen Keller. But one day the baby became ill, and day after day her fever stayed high. So suddenly one day what happened? The baby became ill. So the health of the baby is not okay. It become bad, and day after day and day after day it is continue to decreasing the healthiness in their the baby's health. Her fever stayed high, and the fever that pointing is reached at the high level. Everyone in the family tried to help her to get better, but all they could say was, there is nothing more we can do, the baby may not live. So everyone in the family, whosoever in the family, they are trying whatever they can do for the baby, but as they are trying more and more, the health of the baby become ill day by day. Helen lived, but she was not the same after her illness. So when the baby birth was at that time, baby is so healthy and looked so good, but after as day passed, her health is very bad. She is too weak. Something is very wrong, her mother said. At last they found out what was wrong, and then, but obvious, if we if our health is bad or we are ill, then our parents are worried for that particular situation, that what was going wrong in that, because it's not overcome from that problem. So the parents of the Helen Keller are now worried that what is going wrong with her. At last they found out what was wrong, and at last they come to know that what was wrong with the child. The child could not see or hear. So the child is not able to see, she become blind, and she is not able to hear, that she is become deaf. The baby grew into a little girl. Now she grown up in a little girl. Her parents felt sorry for her, and her parents was not feeling good for her, because their parents are not able to do something for her child, and by seeing in that particular situation they feel so bad for her. Helen often cried and held on to her mother. So Helen's situation is that she's cried and held on her mother, totally dependent on her mother. Give the poor child what she wants, her father would say. So as Helen continued crying and not behaving, not understanding, not listening anything, so her father say, whatever the poor child needs, please give it to her. Though Helen could not hear or see, she was a bright little girl. But as Helen was not able to see or hear, but she is quite having a capability in it, some people thought Helen could not learn anything. So this is a this situation we see or we found in our society, that peoples are always ready to talk about of any situation, that they are not knowing anything, but they are ready to say something about the situation. So some people thought Helen could not learn anything. Her mother did not agree. Helen is very smart, she said, and added, the problem is how can we reach her. So some people are ready to say that she is not capable of doing anything, but her mother is not ready to accept that thing, because she know her daughter that she is capable. She is locked up inside herself. So because of this, Helen locked up herself inside. She is not going anywhere outside. Helen began to grow wild. Now day by day her behavior is like wild, means she is shouting, she throw the thing as it is. Her behavior is too bad. She would not let anyone comb her hair. So as her mother comb her hair or dress up her, but she is always shouting and not ready to comb her hair. Her clothes were always dirty. She was often angry, and her behavior is like in angriness only. If someone is talking with her or trying to behaving properly with her, then she is always in angry. Sometimes she even lay on the floor and kicked her feet. So lay here, that is a sit on the floor sometime, and start kicked her feet on the floor. Her parents thought that they should find a teacher for her. So now, to overcome with this problem, to overcome with the health of the Helen Keller, her parents are started thinking about it, and at the end they reach at a point that now the Helen Keller is needed a teacher. Miss Sullivan, a young teacher, agreed to help Helen to learn to see the world. So a young teacher, Miss Sullivan, she is ready to accept that problem, and she is now start focusing or start teaching or giving that problem. Miss Sullivan gave Helen a doll. So now Miss Sullivan start their teaching work. So at first what she do, she gave a doll to Helen, spells doll, and then after she spelled the word with her fingers into Helen's hand. So it's a language of touch. By this method she start her teaching work. When she spelled the doll, at that time she write with her finger on the palm of the Helen. She made the letters with special hand. So now she start this signing language. Helen copied her teacher and spelled doll too. So now Helen also copy as her teacher spell the word doll, D-O-L-L. Helen also copy the same thing, but she did not understand what she was doing. But actually she just copy what her teacher is doing. Actually she don't know what she is doing with her. Helen liked Miss Sullivan, so Helen liked the company of her teacher. She was strict but kind. By nature she was strict, but she is kind too. She spelled a lot of words for Helen on her hand, and by this method she spelled lots of words on her hand day and night to make Helen understand. And why she is doing such a thing? Because Helen is not able to see and heard the things. So that is why she adopt this method, and by day and night she is always giving her a new words. One day her teacher made Helen put her hand into running water. So one day what happened, her teacher made Helen to put her hand into running water. Then she spelled W-A-T-E-R, water. Suddenly Helen understood that water means something wet. So by touching, by feeling that water, now Helen is able to understand that this thing, the thing which is wet, it's a water. Running over her hand, she understood that word were the most important thing in the world. Words would tell her everything she wanted to know. So by day after day, by learning from this method or whatever the teaching given by her teacher to her, now she is able, or she reach at that point, now she understand the value or the importance of word in life, that words are too meaningful or too important in our life. So now we will start the textbook portion of poem Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, written part. So now students, we are start with our writing works. So you people also start writing with me. So firstly we are starting with Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. The poem portion. Don't be afraid of the dark. So whatever I am writing over here, you have to be write down. So now start writing with me. So in our textbook, page 75, answer the following questions are given. So let's start. Answer the following questions. So in that, question 1, what is the poem about? So the answer is the poem tells about the fear of darkness and how to overcome from that. So just now as we read it, the poem, the explanation portion, and we come to know that the poem tells about the fear of darkness and how to overcome from that. Then after, question 2, what happens when the day is over? So the answer is when the day is over, the moon and the stars, shine in the night. So as the day is over, the moon and the stars shine in the night. Then after, question 3, what does the earth do when the day is over. So the answer is the earth rests when the day is over. So in the poem we come to know that the earth take rest when the day is over. Then after question 4, what does the poet want us to do at night? So what the poet want, that what we do at night. So the answer, the poet wants us to be friend at night. So poet wants that we have to be friendlier with the night. So student, in this session we learn about the unit 5, which include one poem and one story. The explanation portion is done, and then after we go through with the answer the following question of unit 5 from the poem part. Now the further exercise will be continue in the next period. So till then, take care of yourself, stay at your home, stay safe. Thank you. Goodbye.